What can I say? Sometimes it's easier that way. And what can I do?
Hello everybody. I'm on this end of the camera because I didn't want to. It was feeling a little under the weather. I didn't want to get anybody sick. So that my hand's gonna go away now. I just hi. But
yes, he was talking through his hand, folks.
yes, talking through my hand. Anyway,
That's gonna be annoying to watch.
So anyway, yeah, we had this little discussion. Well, yeah, that works. You're not plucking Caleb that way. I was a little concerned when you were starting to set yourself up. Like, anyway, I decided to have a little bit of discussion while Ian is still apparently dead.
I admit to nothing.
Well, you don't need to admit to anything. You don't have to admit to anything. We had photographic evidence from the previous discussion.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not a crime until you are, what's the word?
Convicted?
That's it.
Convicted.
Until you find the body, the crime has not been committed.
The body was right there. Anyway, the point is, Ian's not back, and we decided we're going to do a little discussion video at my place, even though I'm a little sicky behind the camera wearing a mask. But anyway, this is the basic idea I had. Is we were going to go around the round table, metaphorically. Well, I guess it is actually a round table this time.
It's more oval, but
It's that's round. I didn't say circular.
It has a point on it.
Anyway, but basically going around and just asking, which of the two do you prefer, fantasy or sci-fi, and give your reason why. Just a reason. And that's,
Yeah, I do like both.
I don't know if I can choose, man. Like, all my favorite video games are fantasy, and then I have read this book being written by someone, and it's extremely sci-fi. I want to continue reading it, but they haven't been writing it.
okay, well, how about, instead of choosing, you just tell me what you like about either side.
Or we can choose the middle ground, Star Wars. It's both.
yeah.
Technically sci-fi, but yeah, it does have a lot of fantasy elements.
No, that's a long time ago.
Star Wars doesn't tend to have the elements you look for when you're looking for sci-fi.
That's true.
Well, it does have other planets and
it's a
starships.
sci-fi setting
It
with a
doesn't have
fantasy
technical
story.
details in the line.
Oh, okay.
I'll
That's what I
go.
think Star Wars is.
I'll
Sci-fi
go
story
ahead
with
and
fantasy.
start first, I guess. Give some
You want
people
to
time to
hear
think.
this whole group here.
But yeah, I'm gonna start with. Although I love both, I do actually love sci-fi and fantasy. I think I love fantasy more.
Nerd.
I agree.
Although
Nerd.
that.
I said I can agree with that was weird.
And it's like, you say nerd for liking fantasy, though science fiction has all the nerdy science.
Yeah.
Sorry. Geek!
You know what? Fine.
Nine ball.
But I always liked fantasy more than sci-fi because until up to recently, when everyone's obsessed with bloody dark fantasy, it's always been
Is there a cat in this couch?
maybe.
Okay.
There's always been
I thought there was a cat. There's a tiny cat on this side.
it's always been sunnier, more whimsical. I've always just adored that sort of thing, the escape. Don't have to think about it. A wizard did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
In my experience, fantasy always has a lighter, more fun mood.
Usually, and that just
Sci-fi always has like that. I guess maybe because
That
it's
re-
like space. Like
Yeah.
usually sci-fi is like space. It always has that dark
I think that sunnier thing resonates with me more. I mean, yeah, you get that sort of thing from sci-fi sometimes, like the Jetsons, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, but guys, thanks to sci-fi, we get to see Arnold Schwarzenegger's eyes pop out of his head.
Total Recall. Yes.
That name
I
dropped.
fucked it, I know.
Fucked, okay?
I stuttered on his name. I apologize.
You did not stick the landing.
We can see his eyes pop out.
But thanks to fantasy, we get to see Henry Cavill without a shirt. I guess. The Witcher.
Oh.
Owned.
I don't know.
Thanks to fantasy.
The Witcher's a really nice show.
Sexy elves.
Sexy elves.
We can take
Yeah.
some breaks for that one.
Yeah, the fantasy glam squad there.
Thanks to fantasy. Legend of Zelda.
Although, I want to see a steampunk or sci-fi Legend of Zelda.
Oh,
Like a
It
modern,
would be cool.
or like a
Officially
modern
right now,
chapter.
Zelda's fantasy.
Or like a modern
that
chapter, yeah.
would be a
Breath
hell
of
of a
the Wild
game.
has like the good foothold of that because they have all those Sheikah machines and that.
It's Magic Detective.
If you're not in a shrine or by a
Magic Detective's
shrine or
fantasy.
by anything that says Sheikah, you are in fantasy.
Yeah, I know.
But
I was saying
mostly
out of all the
like
Zelda games,
Magic
Breath of the Wild has like the best like start.
That's the
to-
closest, yes.
That's what I was trying to say. I didn't even hit you in the face. I'm sorry.
But I want to see like a sprawling city. You got the political intrigue going on. I want to see all that. But sprawling city, political intrigue, gore on street racing.
Majora's Mask.
Not that mini game. I mean, actually doing that.
And then car?
No.
The Majora's Mask.
You get the same idea, but that's just one example. I also want the political intrigue, the...
Twilight Princess.
Honestly, I can get down with this.
Yes, combine all of the elements you were talking about and put it in a big fuck-off city.
That's probably my Steve.
Have
So, what you want-
Link in a hoodie. Give him a riot shield.
So you want Cyberpunk 2077 with a Zelda skin?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Cyberpunk? Is that what we're talking about now? I thought we were talking about Steampunk.
You're fighting the corruption of...
Either or.
You're fighting the corruption of Police Chief Ganondorf and...
Oh god. Oh god.
No. They have to go settle. Not so settle with it. They have to call it Ganon because all cops are pigs.
Big.
Well, you see, all the old legends, those are just fairy tales and long forgotten, so, none of it's real.
Or so they say.
Yes, as it turns out, yeah.
Exactly.
The librarian
There you go.
remembers. The librarian remembers.
Honestly,
The magic is
you
just
guys are
a
picking
tale,
up
but
characters, though, it's just like-
under the right
Happy to be
circumstances,
fine.
it
They
might
know
come
everything.
back.
Give Link an electric guitar. It's all modern.
That's the places to
It's like modern / cyberpunk stuff. So yeah, give him that. And it's like for many games involving it, you can even use the Rock Band Periphery. I don't care.
You just, if they're gonna turn it into a game, you need to switch between the regular controller and a Rock Band controller.
Yeah.
Try to play the
Do it.
new ocarina.
Yeah.
All of a sudden
And the
you get
controller just has a picture of an ocarina.
all of a sudden you get a special edition Legend of Zelda guitar periphery.
I'd buy it.
Yeah.
I'd buy it on the heartbeat.
The axe head is Majora's Mask.
Dun, dun, dun.
That probably exists.
That probably does exist.
Anyway, I had a lot of fun with that, but yeah, basically my vote, even if it's just by a couple of points, I prefer fantasy over sci-fi.
I will go the other way. I like science fiction because as a baby boomer, I grew up when the space race was on.
That's fair.
I was expecting every day we were going to reach the moon.
You probably had a lot of fascination with space and science and all
Oh
that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
when Star Trek came on, I loved it. It was like this could actually happen someday. So
It's funny that a lot of the stuff that Gene Roddenberry came up with for Star Trek is slowly starting to come true.
I know. I love it.
It's actually almost as if he predicted the future.
Yeah, one wonders if maybe some alien race took him to the future and let him see what it was going to be like.
Or he was from the future and
Futurama?
was sent back to the past accidentally, and just knows these things.
Or
What is that?
It's a real guitar.
there's a theory out there, it could be true, he was chosen
Pretty sweet.
I can't tell because it's a green and black thing.
and he was let in on the fact
I
that
didn't
there
find one.
are about 30
Wow.
different alien races out there observing us.
Right.
And they told him, write something like this, so when we actually show up, your people will be ready.
Okay, how did this go from sci-fi and fantasy to just talking about how sci-fi is fantasy?
I don't know. Anyway,
Everything we do
what-
on this channel kind of crumbles.
oh yeah, we go on tangents all the time.
We seriously lost one of our co-hosts, so...
Crumbles, told you.
Anyway, who's next?
Personally, prefer. I personally prefer fantasy a lot, but I love Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, Star Wars is that weird little hybrid thing.
I'm not a giant fan of Star Trek. It's okay. I actually prefer the next generation of the original.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that.
And even of the next generation, I still like more of like the fantasy settings and everything. Part of it is that I just like happy endings. I like seeing something that ends up being a happy ending.
That's me. Love the fairy tale thing.
Yeah, I'll give it. I enjoy that thing too.
Just because we choose one that we like,
Yeah, it's not rejecting the other.
we're not saying the other's bad. We all enjoy both, obviously.
I enjoy both, so I can't pick one.
He's stating straight out even. Do you have any particular reasons for that, Devin?
Well, all my favorite video games are fantasy, and I enjoy the
Simplicity?
yes,
Okay.
of it. Like, you're a knight, you got a sword, go kill a bad thing. I absolutely love that. It gives me a drive to go kill that bad thing. But like in movies and stuff, all my favorite movies I've come to realize are all sci-fi. Mine's Shrek.
Shrek's fantasy.
Yeah, very.
But like all of the movies I remember watching with my dad from the 80s, all my favorite ones were the sci-fi ones like Total Recall, Blade Runner.
So literally all the things Dale's talking about.
Yeah. And honestly, I kind of enjoy like how most sci-fi shows, movies, and all that, they kind of bring their like humanity into question, what it means to be human.
Which is what I
It
was
just
thinking
gets rid of
now,
all
like,
this.
all sci-fi has like that weird dark turn to it.
Yeah, and I enjoy that dark turn, but at the same time, I also don't like it getting too dark. But honestly, there is a lot of dark fantasy stuff out there, like
Oh yeah.
Goblin Slayer. There's a lot of dark fantasy out there.
Oh yeah.
There's dark anywhere you go, sadly, and I just don't like the dark. But I kind of enjoy in like a lot of movies where there's like that dark
See,
moral.
I know enough about Goblin Slayer. I probably wouldn't consider it a dark fantasy. I'd consider it a fantasy with some shock scenes.
Yeah.
Because other than those particular shock scenes,
In the very first episode, I understand it's only the first episode. I refuse to watch the anime unless I watch all the episodes.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can't
I'm
get
saying.
past the first episode, so.
I'm saying, other than those shock scenes, it's actually rather regular fantasy.
it still has dark moments in it.
Yes.
And that's what I was trying to get at. Is fantasy still has dark.
So does
Sci-fi.
one of some of your favorite games, namely Dark Souls. Dark Souls is extremely dark.
And Bloodborne. Don't forget about Bloodborne.
Yeah. Bloodborne.
I feel like Bloodborne's darker.
Oh, it's more Eldritch horror, but a big part.
Eldritch horror is darker in my opinion.
Well,
What, Elder Scroll?
Eldritch.
Oh.
Eldritch horror. Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
Oh, yeah.
Lovecraft games.
I enjoy that kind of thing too, actually. I love reading Cthulhu stories.
HP Lovecraft stuff, yeah.
Hate the guy. Guy's horrible. But,
He's from a different time.
Yes.
He was racist even in his time.
Even by those standards, yeah, H.P. Lovecraft was not a great person.
Also, he's quoted as saying he did not have the constitution for math.
You're not good at math, Seth?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't have. He could not. He did not have the health for math problems, and he couldn't handle it. I can
Which
relate.
is why he went into writing.
You don't need math skills to go into writing, guys.
Even he, though, later on in his life admitted he was pretty freaking racist. To be fair, I will give him that shake.
Yes. Which shows growth.
It does show growth, but
Mm-hmm.
he named his cat very obscene thing.
That's what it always comes back to, is why he fucking named his cat.
Why would you name your cat that?
Because he was born in the fucking 30s.
No, he was born before that because the 30s is when he was doing a lot of his writing.
No, that's true. He's a product of the 30s then. That's what I'm getting at.
Still. But I don't know, it's just I like all the qualities of certain fantasies, I like all the qualities of certain sci-fis. But I will say my favorite type of horror is probably sci-fi.
Yeah, sci-fi makes some good horror.
I've actually never really... Is there any, like, real fantasy horror?
Not much.
I don't think I've ever
feel-
I know-
experienced any fantasy horror, and that would be kind of... Well, I guess...
That would be
Is kind of the
terrifying.
movie Legend? Is that kind of...
I guess kind of.
Kind of horror?
They attempted with the Diablo series of games. Was fantasy horror.
Yeah.
Wait, that game is supposed to be scary?
It's supposed to have been at least a little bit.
Diablo 3 is far less scary than... But even the original, honestly, wasn't too...
I didn't find
The original
this-
Diablo, like, the honestly, the main, like, scary things is, like, kind of some
The
of the
game
bosses kind of
mechanics.
fucking nowhere. The way the game mechanics work. Like, the Butcher
Oh, the Butcher, the
In the
first time
first
he
game.
didn't know where he was coming. He
is probably one of the scariest moments in that first game. Because literally, like, it's the thing where, like, everything's dark, and then when you open the door, the room's lit up.
Oh no. Oh no.
Like, really, like, it's like God view.
Yeah.
And then it's dark until you walk into it.
Oh no.
And the Butcher's room is literally a room full of people on spikes and hanging on hooks.
and
And then
then
he fucking runs from one end of the room to the other.
big old apron wearing demon with a giant cleaver.
Oh, I've seen Diablo 3. I know what the Butcher is.
Fucks you up.
It just the Butcher does not do Diablo 3 does not do the Butcher
It
justice.
doesn't. I agree. The Butcher in the first one looks way scarier than the Butcher in the third.
That's just fucked up then.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, that's-
Also, the
Don't
Butcher
get me
in
wrong,
the
I do
first
think
one...
the Butcher in the third looks cool. I like the Butcher in the third, but it's not, doesn't compare.
Okay, in the first one, you come into this room, like you said, you open the door. As soon as you open the door, you hear, fresh meat. And from across the room, he's right on you.
He's fast as fuck.
Most of the enemies that you've seen so far have walked about like that.
Like skeletons.
It is also the first time in the game you encounter a creature that can also open doors.
Yeah.
Oh,
You close
that's terrifying.
once he sees you, you close the door. He opens the door and continues after you.
Okay, that's That's actually the most terrifying thing in video games is when you close the door and they open it up behind after you close the thing. You're saying, I have screamed multiple times when that's happened. Also, can I have a definition of fantasy exactly?
Well,
Medieval style.
well, doesn't always have to be medieval, but yes, most of it is.
Sort of like, yeah.
Sword and sorcery.
Medieval, ancient.
Sword and sorcery is a good
sort of
tone for it.
Thing.
Okay. I was trying to think of a horror movie that is fantasy.
Well, some fantasy, a lot of fantasy stories have little horror threads through them. I mean, you have wizards animating the undead for Guardians.
Oh, good point. Disney's The Black Cauldron was pretty
That was kind of very
messed up.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
Well, would that be considered dark fantasy?
It's dark fantasy, to be sure.
Oh, what about that wizard movie you guys showed us?
That was less horror and more just straight up fantasy.
Yeah, that was set in the future, so actually it was a little
It's kind of
sci-fi.
It's a weird hybrid.
It's in the same videos or in the same group as Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
kinda.
Well, I was going to
little
ask
fusion
because
there.
sword and sorcery,
Yeah.
and I don't know. That's kind of if you weren't expecting it, it's kind of scary at points.
If I'm
Pan's
thinking-
Labyrinth.
Ooh,
There you
Pan's
go.
Labyrinth.
Yes.
It's not. Yeah.
That's
Boom.
fantasy horror.
Boom, and that thing is terrifying.
Oh yeah,
Really?
that guy.
What's
That dude with the eyes.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever
I can't
seen
remember
it.
The Pale Man.
The Pale Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think we have to watch that tomorrow. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Pan's Labyrinth. It's a good movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I've just seen like gifs of it.
I think a lot of it's based on Spanish mythology.
Isn't it Del Toro that does it?
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro?
Yes.
Oh no.
It's awesome.
Oh, no.
That's why it's awesome.
That's why it's based on Spanish mythology. Because it's set in Spain during World War II when old Franco was in charge of the country. And people were trying to overthrow him.
Why did I think it was French? Probably because I'm an idiot.
I don't know. I haven't seen
Every
it.
time I think of it, I think of French. Maybe I'm just
Zero
ridiculous.
French?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm probably just an idiot.
There's someone probably says one French language. Because French and Spanish are right next to each other.
I don't know. I don't know why I thought
Maybe
that.
they were trying to flee France.
Why did I think that? I don't know. I don't know why I thought that. I think my brain just made a false.
But
error.
speaking of your brain, I haven't. We're the last person we haven't officially heard from yet.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you. But yeah, I think I personally enjoy fantasy more than sci-fi.
Geek.
As
We're
to
all
why-
geeks and nerds. Get over it, Devin.
As to why, I think I just.
He grew up on Lord of the Rings, everyone.
Yeah.
Well,
His favorite movie of all time.
I think I just
Good
kind of,
choice.
and maybe that's I relate more with fantasy than I do sci-fi.
yeah, I suppose.
I grew up, you know, it was always most of the things I consumed when I grew up were very fantasy. Most video games I play are, you know, like fantasy video games, and most of the movies I enjoy the most are fantasy movies.
Isn't that like sci-fi horror video game that you can never get hold of? I fucking forget it. I remember you telling me about this sci-fi horror game you played on PS1, or your like mom's boyfriend at the time played on PS1. Your favorite one. Forget his name too.
Dylan?
Yeah. And it was a sci-fi horror movie, and it was like your favorite PS1 game. It had one really bad scare in it at the very fucking beginning. I mean, you like piss yourself.
don't.
And ever since then, you've been loving horror, and you can never get scared again.
I don't. No.
I'm pretty sure it was sci-fi. It might be fantasy.
And now I'm
That
interested.
was really scary. I apologize for the silence.
That's fine.
But yeah, I just think I've consumed much more fantasy than sci-fi in my time, And a lot of the sci-fi I have consumed has been kind of fantastical also.
I mean, you know, Star Wars, you definitely have a lot of that mysticism in there.
Yeah.
Well, I can give you another good example of a fantasy that's horror tinged. Yeah, as a kid, this is stuff that my parents let me read it. They didn't really know what it was like. They'd get it for me without checking it first.
Yay!
They got me the complete works, the complete set of Conan stories by Robert E. Howard.
Oh yeah.
Conan, good stuff.
I mean, that had dark, evil gods in it from time to time. And he would fight actual demons and stuff. There's a few stories where he did that.
Parasite Eve, is it?
No.
It's on the list.
Well, we'll figure that out eventually. Whatever he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not forget Aliens,
Yeah,
or Alien, the original.
right.
I don't believe so. I don't remember.
That'll make you stop from chasing your cat into a dark place.
We about we got everything figured out. I mean, heard from everybody.
I think one of the big things for me is I
Oh,
like
okay.
probably like fantasy a little bit more because fantasy tends to translate better into video games, tabletop RPGs, that kind of thing.
Very true. Although, as far as RPGs go, back in the 80s, Traveler was really a big seller.
And
Yeah.
I also have Paranoia. I hate it personally.
Paranoia was a weird game.
I personally hate it, but I mean, it's a really good sci-fi game. That's
Yeah.
just because I don't like having paranoia. I don't understand why anyone would have to have paranoia 24/7 like that. That is terrible.
I think we pretty much have figured out why everybody likes what they like. And
Mainly because they grew up on it.
yeah, that seems to be what a lot of the consensus is.
Because I mainly grew up on sci-fi stuff because my dad likes sci-fi stuff.
Or we really like the sunnier nature of some things. Some of us really adore the science a lot more. It mostly came down to what we were raised watching or whatever.
Yeah, you
But at the end of the day, we all like both. So,
what's this genre we all hate though?
Romance? I love romance movies.
I love romance.
I like romantic comedies.
So
I
rom-coms
don't
are
like
different,
rom-coms.
but just straight up romance movies, I'm not a fan.
I don't like rom-coms because
They're
so much of the
boring.
humor is based on cringe humor to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
But there are some rom-coms that I enjoy.
And I'm-
Like, most of them are like real dumb. But
I get too much of the vicarious embarrassment to watch rom-coms too much. Wow.
I understand that.
if I may venture a guess of a movie genre everybody hates, snuff.
That would be a good one indeed.
I don't know.
I've never personally seen any. I have no desire to, but I know what you mean.
I mean, it doesn't have to be an actual snuff. Just the idea.
I don't know. I kind of enjoy that. I haven't seen the movie, but I kind of enjoy that story of a guy who made a movie where that was so gruesome that they thought that he killed the actors, and he had to bring all the actors to court to prove he didn't kill them. That's
Wow.
a wonderful fucking story, in my
That's a
opinion.
good story, I suppose.
I don't have any desire to watch Snuff, but it's not my least favorite. Because I don't consider it a genre at all. I just consider that fucking someone killing someone. That's just evidence at that point in my head. That's evidence to put that person behind bars. That's not a genre.
I also don't like shock movies or shock videos or anything like that.
I hate any horror movie that is literally horror because of jump scares. I want a horror movie that makes me question going to bed at night.
Pretentious French art films.
Yeah.
Pretentious films, yes.
Someone give me an example.
I think I'm smarter than you. Look at all these subtitles.
Oh my god. I have been put to sleep by those movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're boring.
There we go. That's one we all universally hate. There we go. That's something.
Like a common drama that like everyone loves, I hate is shit. It escaped me. Crap. Is crap.
Period costume dramas?
No.
Oh, God.
I don't know how to describe the genre because I don't know what genre is, but it's like the Sex and the City, Devil's Wear Prada's, 13 Going on 30 movies.
I know.
I like 13 Going on 30. That's the only movie of that genre I like.
I think I know what you mean. They fall under chick flick, but not really.
Yeah.
Yes.
But partially. Mostly.
I heard chick flick trying to appease a guy or something.
Is weakly trying to do so. Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
There's some chick flicks I enjoy, but it's just they don't make sense to me. Like the Devil Wears Prada movie, I watched it because my parents were watching it, and I just watched it like it's just boring.
Anyway,
I don't know what to call that genre, but
I also don't like things that are based purely on the stupidity of the participants, like Jackass.
Oh, geez, yeah. Those movies and that show, we don't need, I think.
so I'm part of the generation that likes that.
Yeah. I enjoy the Jackass movies. I understand, like, I 100% agree we don't need them.
Yeah, we don't need them.
They're not, like, they're not breaking new ground or doing anything, like, special for the world. But I enjoy the Jackass movies.
What they're breaking are their own bones.
Yeah.
There are some scenes I like in the movies, but overall, I don't find them very funny.
So there's Jackass 4 coming out, and everyone from the original Jackasses are so old they hired a bunch of young people, stunt people, or go to stunts to do all the stunts. It's hilarious.
Honestly,
I haven't seen it.
the first Jackass movie, the scenes I found hilarious, the most hilarious scenes, were the buzz scenes,
What?
where he had a razor and just buzzed someone's head.
Oh, yeah, the Clippers. Yeah.
I thought that was an asshole move. I didn't like those.
I mean, it
ones.
is. That's kind of the point.
But personally, I just have a thing of not touching someone's hair like that. So.
Yeah, but the whole point, it was rather harmless.
Yeah.
It didn't do much thing. It surprised the out of whoever
My
did it.
favorite Jackass thing was the giant hand prank where they had a hallway and they were carrying stuff. And they're like, yeah, just bring it this way. And when they got to the doorway, they let go of this spring-loaded hand and just fucking knocked them off their feet, spilling everything on them. That was my favorite joke. Because no one got hurt.
I showed that in like a preview stuff, and that was my favorite out of the previews.
Yeah.
The big, like, cardboard hand or whatever the heck it was.
And at one point they put flour in it, so you get hit with flour. Mm-hmm. Like, no one got hurt by that. Oh, they probably got, like, knocked wind out of them, but, I mean, it's not like...
It's not anything crazy.
Not riding like a porta potty filled with poop in a slingshot.
Oh my god.
That's my least favorite, because I gag every time.
Well,
That's
I
nasty.
think we got everything all settled.
Like I said, it all breaks down.
Yeah. I think we got all of it settled. You like wrapping it up, I guess?
I mean,
Oh,
we've all
that's
given our
probably
actual...
a genre none of us like. Gross out.
Ah,
Oh, gross.
there we
Just straight
go.
out.
He didn't care.
It depends. But I don't seek out gross out stuff. Typically the most gross out stuff I see is like in comedy movies. And that's just, they're trying to be ridiculous, but...
Yeah, but I mean, you just don't give a shit about it.
But we're not talking about the comedy gross out stuff.
Yeah.
It exists to be gross. and
I'm
disgust.
trying to think of anything I could have seen that would be that, but I don't think I've ever.
Most of the
seen
time, you'll see it just on like dare videos.
Yeah.
Like the Pain Olympics.
I got a
yeah.
gross out thing that you haven't seen because
Don't look that up.
I was
I don't intend
a
to.
privileged white boy
I'm sure
growing
everybody
up.
who watches this probably knows that.
But back when I was a kid on HBO, they had a kids show called Crash Box,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a bunch of like learning things for kids and all that. And one of the learning things was called the disgusting slob. I forgot what it teached you because I always skipped it because I hated it so much. But it's something about this disgusting slob, living in a disgusting slob house, and we always watched it while we were eating breakfast before school. So I always had to just
Oh.
Why
look
would you
away.
watch it? When you're
Perfect timing.
Because it doesn't come up every episode. It only comes up rarely every it's they have like
Yeah, it's a
they have
variety
like
show.
50 random shows, and you only watch like 3 or 4 of them every episode.
Yep, it's a variety show, and I like it too.
I had a lot of favorite ones, and I dealt with it. And every time it came up, I always had to like stop eating and just let it drink because I'm just like, nope. I know what you are. Get the fuck out. And what really irks me is back when I was like 3 years old, I didn't give a shit about that because there's a video of me watching Men in Black on VHS eating. And I can't do that anymore because all the gross stuff.
yeah.
Towards the end of the movie, and the credits were rolling, and I'm just like, young Devin, how the hell did you pull that off? I can't do that now.
You mean like all the slime from the cockroach?
Yeah. Like when Will Smith is stepping on all of them, like, oh, was that your auntie? Ugh.
The sound effect, is that what you mean?
Yeah, sound
Oh,
effects
yeah.
and just looking at it.
Yeah.
A scene. My mom, after seeing Men in Black,
Wait, did we wrap up? Are we done?
No, it's still recording.
Oh, shit, okay.
I was
I
waiting.
didn't realize.
I kept waiting for the wrap up. You guys kept going into different
Yeah.
Sorry.
topics.
Sorry.
I knew we were. I didn't care.
I thought we wrapped up.
But
No.
I think we all wrapped up for what we were discussing.
Yeah. Definitely
Alright.
wrapped up
So-
the fantasy sci-fi discussion.
Bye!
Bye bye.